Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got breaking news coming out from Syria to share with you, and we're also going to be talking about Israel and what Israel has been doing to Syria over the last 24 to 48 hours. We're going to be discussing two top stories, as one of them being Israel invading Syria as of yesterday, moving into a UN buffer zone that's buffered between Israel and Syria. So it looks like Israel is trying to take advantage of the situation and press into this buffer zone and claim some land of their own. And we heard yesterday as well from the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that he's claiming that the reason why they're doing this is to protect their citizens from the rebels in Syria, as many of these rebels are not friends to Israel. And they're creating this buffer zone to protect their citizens on the northeastern side of their country. I'll show you guys a map of that here in just a little bit. But they are claiming that supposedly they will give this land back, but who knows what Israel will do in the future. We'll see what they plan to do. And then also, as you can see here in the video footage, major airstrikes being reported all over Syria throughout the last 48 hours. And I feel like this has been a very quiet operation, but lots of people are talking about this on X over the last day or so, of major airstrikes all over Syria. And it looks like what Israel is doing is destroying all of Syria's leftover military capabilities. Their airfields are being attacked, their naval bases. This is a naval base, the Latakia naval base in Syria. One of their ports were being struck as well from Syria's navy. So just major airstrikes all over their country. And it looks like what Israel's trying to do is they potentially are trying to demilitarize Syria, is what it looks like to me. So we're going to go over these details today and talk about this some more. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. We're going to start off here on The Guardian real quick. I want to show you guys this quick report coming out on mainstream news that's talking about these two events. Then we'll jump on over to X, and I've got lots of video footage to show you guys of major airstrikes inside of Syria. So this is on The Guardian again. Israel seizes Syrian buffer zone amid airstrikes on Assad's weapon depots. Jordan condemns incursion amid Syrian concerns that aim is to permanently occupy or annex the area. So here's a picture of Israeli troops at the border with Syria just in the last couple days here. And it says Israeli forces have seized control of a previously demilitarized buffer zone in Syrian-controlled territory in the Golan Heights and attacked what it said were regime weapons depots with airstrikes, as a shock victory of Syrian rebels over Bashar al-Assad reshapes the region's front lines. Speaking at a news conference, the Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar said the strikes were to stop arms falling into the hands of those who may want to harm Israel and its citizens. That's why we attack strategic weapon systems, for example, remaining chemical weapons or long-range missiles and rockets, so that they will not fall into the hands of extremists, he said. Assad is widely believed to have still possessed large amounts of chemical weapons. Yeah, so chemical weapons facilities were being struck. Like I said, airfields, naval bases, weapons depots, just everything all over Syria just being destroyed. And these were leftover weapons, facilities, missile production facilities, whatever it might be, that were under Bashar al-Assad's control, okay? So looks like Israel is trying to protect their country and make sure these weapons don't get into the wrong hands. But at the same time, it really looks like they are trying to destroy all of the leftover capabilities from the Syrian army as the Bashar al-Assad has fallen in terms of his presidency in Syria. Now the rebels have taken over. So I'll cite that down below, and you guys can read some more of that if you want to. It'll be in the description for this video. So we're going to hop on over to X now, and let me show you some things over here. So we're going to start off here with ViceGrad24. Israel has crossed into Syria for the first time since 1973. Israel has preemptively taken up positions in the UN buffer zone guarded by UNDOF, and in some cases slightly beyond it in Syria itself. One such area is around Hayder, where Israel had to aid UN soldiers attacked by rebels. So what he's talking about is this area right here. This little blue line is this buffer zone that was created between Syria and Israel. And as you can see, all these arrows indicating where Israel has been pushing into. Now, this information did come out yesterday, so this map might be a little bit outdated. Israel might have taken over more areas by now, but this was the initial push as they started to move into this buffer zone and claim this territory. And if you notice also, they were moving over here to Mount Hermon, and we will talk about that in a later update in this video. We'll discuss Mount Hermon some more and why that's significant for Israel, okay? So moving on to another update from Suppressed News. Breaking: more than 250 Israeli airstrikes on Syria during the past 48 hours. I don't know how much attention this has garnered in our endless news cycle, but for those who haven't noticed yet, Israel has been conducting an unprecedented aerial assault over the past 48 hours aimed at destroying the military of a sovereign state. With more than 250 airstrikes, the Israeli Air Force is systematically destroying Assad's military, tanks, planes, helicopters, ships, air defense systems, missiles, military factories, intelligence facilities. Everything that the Syrian military had built and maintained for decades is being wiped out as we speak. So as we can see, according to this information, it really looks like Israel is trying to take advantage of the situation and wipe out Syria's military capabilities while they're weak right now, and while they don't really even have a president at the moment, and they're destabilized. It looks like Israel is definitely taking advantage of this situation. It also says here Israel has made a strategic decision to eliminate all remaining advanced and strategic military capabilities in Syria. Following the collapse of the regime, if this operation is successfully completed, the new rebel-led government will have to start from scratch with M16s and Kalashnikovs to rebuild their military capabilities as a new state. So it looks like Syria is being pushed back into the Stone Age in terms of military capabilities, as a lot of their military hardware is being wiped out right now. This was according to Doron Kadash on Israeli Army radio. So we got two videos to show you guys of destruction inside of Syria just over the last couple days here. We got some pictures showing some destruction as well. So we'll start out with this first video here. And I don't believe this video has much sound. It's 22 seconds long, but we can see what appears to be maybe a naval base or a weapons depot that was struck. We can see lots of secondary explosions over here, possibly indicating this is ammunition or maybe some missiles that were at a depot that were destroyed. Lots of smoke there at this facility as well. So major strike being reported there inside of Syria. We've got one more video coming up now. And what this video is indicating is potentially their Air Force inside of Syria being attacked as well. I believe these are MiG-29s or leftover remains of them from the Syrian Air Force prior, and Israel had attacked some of these hangars, what it looks like, and destroyed some of these aircraft. I'll have some information that talks about that here in just a minute. We also got a picture here of something else inside of Syria that was struck. Major explosion over here in the distance. And also looks like some helicopters were destroyed as well at some of the air bases in Syria also. Okay, so lots of destruction being reported everywhere across Syria right now. All right, so we're going to move on to another update now from Ozone Defender. After earlier reports of extensive IDF strikes on the Syrian port city of Latakia, videos have now emerged showing heavy strikes against Syrian naval infrastructure and assets still in the port. These strikes are the latest in a rash of Israeli strikes to diminish and destroy the former regime's military hardware. So we got a video that was just released today, just in the last hour or so at the time that I record this, and a 19-second video showing strikes on the Syrian port city of Latakia, probably one of Syria's naval bases over here, close to a Russian naval base. Take a look. All right, looks like heavy bombardment by the Israelis over here on the port of Latakia. Now, again, I understand that the Syrians do have a naval base over here, and not too far away, I believe there is a Russian naval base. And as far as I know, the Russians have not really been attacked. I think they have been engaging a little bit with the Syrian rebels at some of their naval bases, but the IDF has not been attacking their bases. As far as I know, this is a Syrian naval base that was attacked. We can see here multiple strikes at this port. Okay, so moving on to another update from Iran Observer. Breaking: Israel has destroyed Syria's MiG-29 squadrons, leaving Syria without a proper air force. Okay, so I believe that's what that video was that I showed you guys earlier, as multiple sources were sharing on X that MiG-29s were being destroyed inside of Syria, and pretty much all of them were being wiped out. So it definitely looks like Syria is being left without an air force also, okay? Moving on to another update from The Informant. The Syrian Scientific Studies and Research Center, located in Damascus, was the target of multiple attacks by the Israeli Air Force in the last few hours. This center is known to be associated with the Assad regime's chemical, biological, and long-range missile weapon programs. Okay, so just what was being reported on The Guardian, this is the exact information that we were seeing there. So chemical, biological, and long-range missile weapons programs being struck as well. Take a look at this.
البحوث العلمية يا شباب مع صوت صارم البحوث العلمية يا شباب البحوث العلمية. All right, that was a pretty massive airstrike right there from the IDF. And again, they're destroying all these facilities to make sure that these weapons, or even these chemical weapons, don't fall into the hands of the rebels, as they are also enemies to Israel as well. So it looks like Israel is trying to take advantage of the situation, destroy all these weapons right now while they can, while Syria is in a state of chaos, and that way the rebels do not get their hands on these weapons, okay? So I got another video here for you from the Ozen Defender. Unknown airstrikes now against a former airbase of the Syrian Air Force. Kamishli Airport in northeast Syria on the border with Turkey, with the city under the control of U.S.-backed Kurdish forces. Okay, so this video is being shared. It looks like Ozen Defender wasn't able to identify who exactly was carrying out these strikes up here in northeastern Syria, but we got another video to show you as well. Take a look at this one. All right, so this video appears to show what looks like a weapons depot that was directly hit. We can see a lot of those missiles flying everywhere, indicating secondary explosions here also at this facility when it was struck. So I'm not sure if this was the IDF doing this, or maybe this was the U.S. Air Force. We don't really know, because the U.S. has been carrying out some airstrikes also up in northeast Syria recently, just over the last week or so. So don't know exactly who carried out those strikes, but definitely a direct hit on what looks like a weapons depot. Got another video here also from Ozen Defender. Multiple surface-to-air missile batteries in and around the port of Latakia in northwest Syria, as well as several missile boats of what used to be the Syrian Navy, have been targeted tonight by Israeli airstrikes, as Israel continues to launch precision strikes against weapons and equipment that they do not want to fall in the hands of the certain opposition groups in Syria. So 10-second video, take a look at this as well. All right, so just a quick explosion we can see. It looks like a port over here that was struck also, and probably something to do with the Syrian Navy as well, as we know a lot of their naval assets were being destroyed over the last 24 to 48 hours also. So a couple more things to show you guys. This is from The Informant. Israel has captured the peak of Mount Hermon at an altitude of 2,815 meters or 9,236 feet and just 45 kilometers or 28 miles from Damascus. This move is part of Israel's strategy to strengthen its presence on the Syrian border, particularly following the fall of Assad's regime. The occupation of Mount Hermon complements Israel's control over the Golan Heights, a strategic area that Israel formally annexed in 1981, despite not being internationally recognized as Israeli territory. So we got a video to show you guys of Israeli troops that are on the top of Mount Hermon, as they've taken advantage of this situation to move into this area that was previously guarded by the UN.
So we'll go ahead and take a look at this video, and I got a few pictures with maps to show you guys as well. So let's take a look at this. All right, so we've got video evidence here showing the IDF has made it to the top of Mount Hermon. Looks like they've established a base up here as well. And I've got some pictures to show you guys with maps to kind of indicate, what Israel's trying to do here and why they're capturing Mount Hermon. So just like that map I showed you guys earlier in the very beginning of the video, showing these areas that Israel's starting to press into. So it looks like this is more of an updated map coming out today from December 9th, indicating some of the areas that Israel has taken over inside of this buffer zone. This is where they started to move towards Mount Hermon, and also showing approximately 40 kilometers from Mount Hermon to Damascus. So they'll be able to have kind of like a bird's eye view of Damascus from this area, or at least into Syria. So here's a satellite image also showing Mount Hermon up here. And then they have Mount Meron, which I believe the IDF has an Air Force base over here in Mount Hermon up in northeast Israel. And this will help them overlook and have control, probably even for radar communications. This will probably improve that for them as well, taking control of Mount Hermon. So that's what this is showing right here. And also take a look at this. So this is showing the bird's eye view that they'll be able to achieve by holding Mount Hermon as well. They'll be able to see into Lebanon and also Syria, primarily monitoring Damascus as well. So that's also why strategically this location of Mount Hermon is very important to Israel and why they pushed in to take it over. Okay, so very interesting information coming out from there. Also, one last thing I want to show you guys in terms of Lebanon now, okay? So now that Syria has fallen, this is really going to put a heavy burden onto Hezbollah, as Hezbollah is essentially isolated now, okay? They're not going to be able to just freely transfer equipment through Syria anymore now that Bashar al-Assad is gone. So take a look at this from Tendar. So many are asking what comes next after the fall of Assad, but that question will take time when we look at Syria herself. More urgent is the question what happens abroad, and here you do not have to go far in order to precise the question. Lebanon is now in a unique situation which hasn't been there since the civil war in the 1970s or 1980s. Hezbollah has been severely weakened even before Assad's fall, but now they're completely cut off from Iran. The important land route from Tehran to Beirut is severed. Planes from Tehran cannot fly directly, if at all, to Beirut, and supply from the sea takes time to be established, time neither the mullahs in Iran nor Hezbollah has. Syria is now an enemy for Hezbollah and Iran. The power structures in this region have completely flipped, and it is fair to say that we are in uncharted waters, but I believe that it is a positive trajectory. Iran and Russia have lost a valuable foothold in the Eastern Mediterranean, and both have zero alternatives for this decisive blow. Okay, so I got this map here for you guys to take a look at this to show how Lebanon is officially isolated now from Iran, okay? They're not going to be able to transport any equipment through Syria anymore, as the rebels will not be okay with that. And then we also heard some reports over the last 3 days or so that Iran apparently tried to send a few planes from their nation into Lebanon to support Hezbollah, and the IDF was even coming out and telling Iran that they were warning that they would shoot down these incoming planes. So Israel's not allowing anything to come into Lebanon. Syria's not going to allow anything to come into Lebanon. So Hezbollah is officially isolated and cut off from their major support structure, which is Iran. So that's a big deal when it comes to Hezbollah, as we know their capabilities have already been pretty severely damaged and degraded, and Hezbollah is on their last leg right now for the most part. They're not doing well. So crazy information coming out, guys. Just wanted to give you some updates from the Middle East and what's going on, what Israel's been doing inside of Syria over the last couple days. So I hope you got something out of this. If you did, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.